The Pound Perspective has made its return. It's been a long time coming, but we are back, and it is CDM here. Red had a little bit of a technical issue with his camera, so he could not make it, but we promise Red will be back on the pod very, very soon. Co-host of College Kings joins us on the Pound Perspective from here on out. CDM, how we doing? How was your NFL weekend as we lead into championship weekend in the league, brother?
It went good, man. I brought my pound. I brought my
Yes.
pooch. This is Lady May. She's awesome. Okay, that's your star appearance. You can get down now because you're crushing me.
That was our 15 seconds of fame. 15 seconds of fame.
15 seconds of fame is all you need. So this weekend was insane, man. I mean, the games were outstanding. Everything about them was great. Okay, just a second.
Yeah.
We're good. I mean, the games were just outstanding. This has been my favorite playoff season so far with the teams that they selected, the teams that made it. Texans came in with they exceeded expectations. They made it a fun run for the playoffs, but Ravens ultimately got it done. The Packers almost take 49ers all the way down to the wire, but Brock Purdy in the 2-minute drill gets them down there and able to win the game. Buccaneers and Lions, man. I mean, that was probably my favorite game all week leading up to it. I loved Baker Mayfield going into the season, and the way he finished out the season was super awesome. But to see Detroit after 32 years finally going back to an NFC championship is amazing. I love it. And then to wrap it all up, cinema, it would be Kansas City versus Buffalo. It came down to a kick, man. Came down to one kick that couldn't get them there, but a great game. Great games all around, man, and I can't wait. We got two more games, man.
Two more games, man. You ain't kidding, dude. I mean, it's crazy, you know. What a season we've had so far, and with there were some blowouts last week in the playoffs, and like we've said, it's been a long time since we've been on the Pound Perspective, been able to talk about these awesome things going around the NFL. It was one of the craziest seasons of all time, man. I mean, a lot of storylines and a lot of controversy, but that's every single season. Injuries and teams that missed out just by that much. I'm repping the South, even though we were not even close. There y'all are, got knocked out in the first round, man. It's the season. It's a beautiful / painful experience with the NFL, and we were College Kings. Obviously, that's what we've been working on. If you haven't paid attention, go out there, check out College Kings on Nate Dogg Productions YouTube, and obviously on podcast platforms. But man, I mean, to be able to get back and talk about this unbelievable sport. I mean, this weekend showed how awesome the NFL truly is. Like, there's 40 million people watching these games pretty much consistently. I mean, it is the biggest sport in America. I think it's the greatest sport on the planet. A lot of people say soccer or the actual football, but I just think American football is the greatest thing on the planet, and NFL, it shows how awesome it can be in moments like this. I mean, every single game, even though the Baltimore the scoreboard looks like they dominated. That first half was incredible. It was an entirely different game in the second half. And then, the 49ers just survive with the Packers, play with house money, it felt like. And then once they get to this game and leading in the fourth quarter, it wasn't house money anymore. They had Super Bowl aspirations for a second there. So, to see the 49ers pull that off with Brock Purdy doing his thing and then, I mean, the Lions, I mean, that storyline, golly, watching those fans.
Man. I'm loving it.
I mean, watching those fans do their thing, and Dan Campbell at the helm with his personality, it's crazy. It's a beautiful thing.
I wish Detroit was hosting the NFC Championship game, dude, because that stadium is rocking every time. Every playoff game they've had so far, the 2 playoff games they've had, it's been louder and louder.
You ain't kidding, dude. I mean, this is incredible what we've got to witness with the Lions and their rise to greatness, if you could say, this season, and them being one game away from a Super Bowl, first time they could ever make a Super Bowl, not even win, just to be in one.
Yeah, just to be in one it's be the first time me and you have ever seen it,
dude. They're the worst franchise of all time in the NFL, man, and we get to finally see them be
now
good.
It's the Jets.
Oh, Jets. Browns are up there. They've been pretty bad. Yeah,
they made the playoffs.
And they did. So, But
with Joe Flacco.
Joey B, no, not yeah, Joe Flacco, Joey Flack. Yep. So, but obviously in the night with the Chiefs and the Bills, cinema, absolute cinema, perfect, beautiful football. Every single time those guys play, Josh Allen and Patty Mahomes is the new greatest rivalry in the NFL. So we're gonna be talking about all that, man.
Tom Brady type deal.
Literally, it is literally that. So we'll be talking about all of that, recapping these games, giving y'all our thoughts on some big questions coming out of those games as well. And we're going to be looking at some coaches being hired and fired, breaking in to the Pound perspective pretty much right before we started. Brian Callen will be going to the Tennessee Titans, offensive coordinator for the Bengals. We'll be giving our thoughts on that. Yes. Good hire. Good hire for the Titans, getting a young guy.
I like it.
That offense has shown to be pretty dang good over the last few years with Joey B at the helm. Can Will Levis and the boys, keep maybe keep Derrick Henry? I don't think that's a possibility with how he exited, the last game and stuff. But yeah, man, this is what a hire for them. So we're going to talk about that and obviously some questions coming out of all these games, teams losing in the playoffs. Are we going to fire these coaches after making the playoffs? And there's some guys that we'll talk about there, and we'll also give some landing spot predictions, and then we'll be giving y'all the preview to the NFL Draft Pod that will be dropping College Kings / the Pound Perspective Draft Pod will be coming soon after the NFL season wraps up. Will be me, CDM, and Red giving y'all our thoughts, mock drafts, and everything. So obviously keep an eye out for that. We'll be talking about a little bit of a super early top 5 picks in this upcoming draft, and then of course game predictions. All right. That's enough groundwork. Everyone knows what we do here. Let's get this thing rolling. The Pound Perspective episode 44 has begun, brother. And there's only one way to start this. It is with good vibes, like those Ravens had after the game. Their good vibes were immaculate, just immaculate vibes after a massive win, dude.
Big win. John, is it John? Yeah, it's John. Yep. Getting out there. I saw a video of him in the locker room dancing, living his best life, man. I mean, these hardball boys, they don't know what losing's about a lot lately. They don't know that.
Yeah, let's look at those moves, man. Let's look at some of these moves that the coaches had
check
here.
Them out.
Look at this. Oh, Carson, what are your thoughts on those dance moves right there?
Stick to coaching. Absolutely stick to coaching.
You don't like the coach's moves?
Hey, but the vibes are there, man. The vibes are there. I mean, you do it. Oh, here comes John. Here comes John boy.
Look at John. Look at that.
Whip it. Whip it. Yeah.
Dude, that locker
get it, John.
Fired. Put in Zay. Put in the rookie.
Get Zay right there. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Dude. Okay, stick to playing. Okay.
Stick. Oh golly, that's.
But
so
no,
funny,
man. This Ravens team, like the first half was amazing. The first half, 10-10 at halftime, insane. Because the Texans came out on fire. The Texans came out with something to prove. Obviously, they went above expectations. What everybody was thinking. Everybody didn't think they were going to be making the playoffs this year, more or less being divisional winners or anything else. Mm-hmm. But they held the Ravens in check on the They held the Ravens offense in check. They kept them down. They didn't really let Lamar Jackson get out that much. But then that second half came around, and next thing you know, there was a switch flip, dude. I don't know what was said. Lamar Jackson came out in his post-game press conference and said, there was a lot of cursing. I can't say it right here because it'd be inappropriate, but there's a lot of cursing during the halftime in the locker room.
Yep. And
next thing you know, there is just a switch flipped, and they were just on fire nonstop. I'm talking about Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers, Isaiah Likely, guys like those that just came out and just kept going downfield, pushing and pushing and pushing. And then John Harbaugh, being the coach that he is, calling up the right plays, the right coverages on defense, and shutting down that Texans offense as well. But I will applaud C.J. Stroud, DeMarco Murray as well. As I said, they exceeded expectations on where the Texans were probably going to be this year. I haven't seen a rookie head coach and a rookie quarterback like this before, just so entwined with each other and picking up like they were seasoned vets. This team really surprised me. No. But ultimately, the Ravens, being more experienced on their side of the ball, came out on top. And even though the scoreboard does show that they ran the score up, it really wasn't that close in my opinion because the Texans gave it their all at the end,
Yeah.
and ultimately held the Ravens down at one point. But Lamar Jackson, man, I mean, you can't count that dude out. I mean, this man does so much on the field that I've seen Patrick Mahomes do. But the thing about Lamar is, I feel like, a more electric player and does more and has more utilities in his bag rather than Patrick Mahomes does. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, I mean, Lamar, man, what he's able to do is ridiculous. I've never, you know, when you look at Lamar and what his progression in his career and all the naysayers that he had early on in his career, talking about he needs to change position and all of that, it's just to see him grow into what he has become. He's the MVP without a doubt. He's one of the best quarterbacks on the planet, and he's leading this team to a championship. You know, the last thing they had to knock on him was that he can't win the playoffs, and now he's got 2 wins in the playoffs, and he has a chance to go to the Super Bowl for the first time. First time that Baltimore has hosted a conference championship in a long time.
I think it's since 91, since 1991.
That's the Lions.
That's the Lions
since they made the championship. The Baltimore was like 2012. I'm pretty sure it was Joe Flacco days.
No, they didn't. I don't think they hosted it though. I think they went on the road.
I think
when Joe Flacco and them won. I could be totally wrong.
I'm pretty sure it was 2012. Let's look it up. Let's look it up. Quick search. Baltimore. No, you're right. At there. So when's the last time they hosted? The last time.
I thought it was in 1960 something. No, not 60s. They weren't even a franchise back then.
Yeah, it's been 1996. They have, but they've never hosted in. Oh, wow, they've never hosted him. That cannot be true.
No, they've had to host one. Like with Ray
11.
Lewis, that first Super Bowl, they had to host a Super Bowl.
It was 2011.
I mean, 2011?
Yeah. I was about to say, it was in that time span, I think.
Huh?
I think that's what it says, yeah.
Hey, go get in your chair.
No,
go get in
maybe
your chair.
not. First time, wow. Well, Baltimore, first time will host the AFC title game since 71. Yeah, you're right.
Wow. I said 60, but 70. I mean, that's insane. It's been that long since they've
this is the first
hosted
time
an AFC championship game.
Yeah, exactly. This is the first time they've been since 2012. So that's just crazy, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
But this team can get it done, man. It's given me like the playoff vibe that they had when they won the Super Bowl with Joe Flacco, having a dominant defense and then in my opinion, having a better quarterback on that side of the ball, on the offensive side, to get the job done, be able to put the ball downfield. No, I mean, Joe Flacco obviously could put the ball downfield, but Lamar does it in more than just one way.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Lamar is unfreaking real, dude. Like, watching him, it's you can't look at the stats and just, even though his stats were ridiculous, 151, 2 touchdowns, only missed 6 passes, 100 rushing yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns. I mean, Lamar dominated, as always, but it's just what he has done this season. You can't discredit the guy, and he kind of, is this team too good for everyone else? There is a strong case you can make that they are just better than everyone else this year. Would not shock me if this is something similar to the Seahawks and the Broncos Super Bowl if the Ravens make it. Like, it doesn't matter who they play.
Oh my God, dude! Do you think it's just going to be that dominant?
The Ravens are so good, bro. That if they play their best ball, I don't think anyone can truly beat this team.
I like that. I mean, I like the take. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think it's going to be that dominant. You know what I mean? I feel like they take to the game, but they keep it close. Yeah. Because, I mean, that Seahawks-Broncos game, that was dominant. But I know what you mean. Like, take control of the game from first kickoff. They take control of the game, and it's going to be theirs throughout the entire way.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like it's going to be that dominant.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be, if we ever see that again, let's hope we never see a Super Bowl like that again. But I just have that kind of a feeling about this team. If they're playing their best ball, we kind of saw it, like rusty in the first half, kind of came out a little sluggish. And, Texans really, the defense played great for the Baltimore the entire game. The offense was a little sluggish, but, and then they come out in the second half, started off with a touchdown, get their energy back up, and just took over from there on out. And watching them, unbelievable. shout out to the Texans. C.J. Stroud, best rookie season I've ever seen in my life, probably. I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback play that good as a rookie. So shout out to him.
Oh, no.
D'Amico Ryans, what a season as a head coach. I mean, he's going to be awesome. You know, watching him on the sidelines do his thing he's going to be special. That team's going to be special. The Texans are going to be back next season. They were just a year too early, it felt like. You know, just too much youth. And this team, I think they need to get a running back. Besides the point, Ravens are that team. Lamar is a top 3 quarterback. It's established. CDM, where do you got him ranked in your quarterback rankings? Just quick. Where you got him ranked?
I have him ranked as the number 2, man. I'm sorry. Yeah. Like, Patrick is obviously number 1. Yep. Obviously, 2-time Super Bowl champ, MVP, and all that. Lamar Jackson's number 2. Yep. There's no doubt about it. You could talk about Josh Allen. Everybody could talk about Josh Allen being the second best quarterback. It is really Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson does so much more in his game compared to Josh Allen. It's 2 different playing styles for these guys, first off. Way too different. It's 2 different playing styles. You can't compare their game at all because they both do different things. Josh Allen, obviously, he is a gunslinger. He has a cannon. He can run, but he's not shifty like Lamar Jackson is. Lamar Jackson can throw the ball downfield, make you miss, probably hit his move and take it for an extra 20, 15 yards. Not to say Josh Allen can't do that, but Lamar, to me, has proven more this season than anybody of why he is a top 3 quarterback. Because he finally got his contract, and now he's just playing his type of ball. He's playing his ball now. And he's finally taking control. I have him at number 2, and then I think I have Josh Allen at number 3. But Lamar Jackson, second best quarterback in the league.
Yeah, right there with you. Patty, Lamar, Josh. I think that's the rankings for myself as well. I get it. Josh Allen is an absolute monster, and you know they're showing his stats against KC. Just can't get it done in the playoffs, but he averages over 300 passing yards, 22 touchdowns, one turnover. Dude, he's never played bad against the Chiefs, and he can't beat them. It's crazy, and it's getting into
mid.
This guy. Coming from the guy where your quarterback is Tua, bro. This freaking guy.
Coming from the guy who your quarterback's Derek Carr.
I want to hear it. Derek Carr, the GOAT, repping the South.
Yeah. As you were saying.
Yeah, whatever, man. But at the end of the day, Lamar Jackson, absolutely insane. Cannot wait to see him have a chance to get to a Super Bowl. Let's talk about another team that has a chance to get to the Super Bowl as well. The 49ers survive against the Packers. Special teams is the reason why. But you can't leave out Brock Purdy in that unbelievable game-winning drive that he put together late. Had some tough moments, though, with the rain, losing Debo early in the first half, you know, and Debo looks like he might not be available. We're going to see. It's an injury that he's dealt with, I think. So, let's see. That's a big one.
Said they came out saying he's like 50-50.
Yeah. So
50-50 that he'll play in the NFC Championship game.
If he can play, he's going to play. It's one of those things, in my opinion. It's that big of a game. So, CDM, the big question is, though, can the 49ers beat the Lions without Debo Samuel? Can they do it? Can they, with all their other stud players, can they do it? It's 67 degrees, I think, is projected weather, no rain. So, conditions aren't going to be a problem. What are you thinking, CDM?
Man, well, I don't know. I want to save it for the game picks, but
don't give your game pick. Yeah.
I'm not going to give the game pick. I just don't want it to give it away. I do believe that they can beat beat the Lions without Debo, just because of all the other pieces they have around them as well. The offensive line is one of the best offensive lines of the league with Trent Williams right there, and then you add George Kittle as your 6th offensive lineman, who's also the second best tight end in the league. You have Christian McCaffrey in the back, who's the best running back by far in the league right now. Brandon Ayuk has blossomed into possibly being a number 1 wide receiver for any other team in the league.
Yeah, he's a number 1.
And the defense, Brandon Ayuk can go anywhere and be a number 1. And then you have the defense, who's just added pieces throughout the entire season. The biggest piece that I liked them adding was obviously adding Chase Young to the defensive line, adding more pressure to the edges, getting him and Nick Bosa back there as well. But the offense, I still think the offense can get it done. It's not up to Debo Samuel to get the yards. It's up to Brock Purdy to distribute the ball to the right guy. So if Brock Purdy just plays a clean game better than he did last week, against the Packers. If he just plays a clean game, then I believe that they can beat the Lions without Debo. But this Lions team is going to be hard because they just went up against, in my opinion, a top 5 wide receiving core or wide receiving duo with Chris Godwin and what's his name? Mike Evans.
Yep.
And they locked him down a little bit. I'm not going to lie. The Lions' passing defense is not that bad. They do. I mean, it's not top 25. It's not top 10. But they can get the job done. And C.J. Gardner-Johnson's one of the reasons why they can get that job done. He's a leader. He brings that. He brings the versatility. He brings the grind. He brings the vibe to it as well. I mean, this Lions defense can get that. This Lions defense is going to have some trouble getting this 49ers defense. Offense to slow down, especially with Kyle Shanahan's way of moving the ball around, getting people open, motions. It's going to be hard. But if the Lions stick to their game plan on what they did last week, shutting down that run game and making Brock Purdy make decisions downfield, but also not giving him time as well. And they had a great job last week with the blitz packages as they brought against Baker Mayfield and that offensive line, getting back to Baker 3 times in the first half. So if they can create pressure to get to Brock Purdy, then that defense has a chance to possibly get takeaways, get their offense back on the field in good field position, and being able to get on the board and score. It all depends on what Brock Purdy does, though, for this 49ers offense. Because if he doesn't play a clean game, I'm sorry, it could be like last year's NFC Championship without him getting hurt, but possibly the same result. He's got to be able to play a clean game for this offense.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, Brock has been so awesome this year, and he's had so many unbelievable moments, and he shows how accurate he can be, how well his timing is, and, he's just breaking a little bit of that mold that, these young quarterbacks can come out and ball immediately. And, yeah, we've seen, C.J. Stroud, he's an anomaly. That doesn't usually ever happen, genuinely.
Yeah.
And, kind of makes people forget, rookies really do struggle, and it's hard. Watching Bryce Young in a terrible situation. We know Bryce Young's good, but he's in a horrible situation, and there's other situations. But with Brock Purdy to come in, Mr. Irrelevant, this is year 2, man. Year 2. He doesn't have a full 2 seasons, technically, under his belt. And, he has expectations to be the best player, on the best team. And it's one of those things where, all right, he can have one bad game. He doesn't have to be crucified. And I get it. It's tough. You're on a team where you got to win right now. It's not about what you can do in 2 to 3 years. It's about what you can do right now when it comes to playing for the 49ers. And, I feel like a little bit of perspective. It's his only second year, and he was the 7th-round pick. And let's be honest, he has a lot of stats at Iowa State, but he was never elite. He was never that guy. So,
yeah.
And yes, he's incredible. So for him to have one bad game, just not a genuinely great game, and still win and put together a game-winning drive, shout out to Brock Purdy. But can he do it without Debo? I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's always Brock Purdy always finds a way. If they're down with 2 minutes left, he goes straight 2-minute drill and gets them downfield. I don't understand how he just flips that switch and is just able to get them downfield.
He's a competitor,
man. I mean, I understand that, but that's another question as well. If they get to a 2-minute drill, they don't have Debo out there. Are you going to be able to, confidently go down the field without him and be able to distribute the ball to your other playmakers that aren't used to, making tough third down completions?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a big question. And, what Debo does to that offense, so they showed a bunch of stats there in the game, how much he impacts their yards per game, yards after catch, yards after contact. It's an entirely different offense, but you still have Chris McCaffrey. Like you said, they still have George Kittle. Brandon Ayuk is that guy. Jennings showed up late. They've got players, man. They've got a lot of players on that team, and there's genuinely no reason why the offense shouldn't be able to run, effectively. Not, Debo's a massive piece, and we shouldn't act like they should just be just as good. He's a massive piece to the puzzle. But, they've got other guys, and they shouldn't be hampered too much. But I don't know. We're going to have to see. Debo is a massive impact player, and Brock Purdy's still so young.
Yeah.
Can they beat them the Lions without him. I'm not so sure about that. So I'm excited to see. Quick question, though, before we leave this 49ers versus Green Bay matchup. Obviously, the Packers played an unbelievable season after, some moments where, hey, is Jordan Love the guy? Do we need to get another guy? There was moments during the season where people were questioning that. Is Matt LaFleur going to be run out of the building? I think we can all agree neither one of those guys are going anywhere, and the Packers are going to be very good for a very long time. But CDM,
they always find a way to hit, man.
Did you? I don't understand how. Give me your thoughts on it. Like, how is Jordan Love this good, and how did the Packers never miss at quarterback?
I don't know, man. Like, the Packers always find a way to hit on a quarterback, and we were all shocked when they drafted Jordan Love in the 2020 draft in the first round.
Not because of skill, it was because of who was there. Exactly.
Yeah, it's because Aaron Rodgers was still there. Aaron Rodgers goes on to win back-to-back MVPs. Nobody thinks he's going to see the field at all. But then Aaron Rodgers has his one bad year, doesn't make the playoffs, and is finally done, ready to go. And then Jordan Love finally, after sitting 2 years behind a Hall of Fame quarterback, obviously he's picked up a lot of things from A-Rod. Obviously he knows a lot about the game now because of Aaron Rodgers. So obviously you take what Aaron Rodgers give you and you run with it. And if you look at it, he kind of looked like Aaron Rodgers out there the way he flicked that ball every time.
Dude, he's got crazy arm talent.
And like they went from 2-5. They won 2 games, lost 5 games. Everybody thought they were done. That's when all the conversation started about those 2 guys. And then next thing you know, they just go on a run, man. Jordan Love has got 21 touchdowns to 1 interception, balling out. Aaron Jones is hitting. It looks like he's in his prime, just running downfield. And then you add the wide receivers out there. You got Dobbs. You got Christian Watson. Who's the rookie they have from Ole Miss? I keep forgetting his name.
You're talking about for the Packers?
Yeah.
You're talking about from Ole Miss?
Ole Miss or Mississippi State. I can't remember his name.
Receiver?
Number 11.
No, that's Jaden Reed is from Michigan State.
Oh, Jaden Reed. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Same as, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Jaden Reed. I mean, those guys balled out. And then Matt LaFleur, shut up the haters, man. I'm telling you right now, he came out and showed everybody why he's still one of the top head coaches in the NFL. And he can do it with any talent that you give him. It's just the Packers never miss on a quarterback, bro. It's insane to me that they can never have a bad quarterback. I've got to see an Aaron Rodgers for so many years, and now we have to see Jordan Love. And I love it, man. I love some Love. I never had a doubt with him because what we saw at Utah State, me and you talked about it in high school, Jordan Love can be a guy. I mean, when you have a frame like Justin Herbert and a strong arm like that, you have the chance to go into the NFL and be that type of guy for somebody. And Green Bay saw the opportunity and took him. And they knew Green Bay had this all planned out. Yeah. Green Bay knew what they were doing. They said, okay, Aaron Rodgers is on his last couple of legs now. He's not looking like the A-Rod of the past. I think it's time to look forward to the future. Finds somebody who can flick the ball just like Aaron Rodgers does, and bam, the rest is history. I mean, I can't say enough about Jordan Love and what he did this season and Matt LaFleur and that Packers team, but I can tell you right now, the NFC North it's going to be between the Packers and the Lions from now on. I full-heartedly think that it's going to be between the Packers and the Lions, NFC North, because that division right there has gotten better and better now.
Dude, I mean, I'm telling you, man, watching, it doesn't make sense.
Oh, and this is just like Jordan Love's first year starting as well. Let's not forget that fact. This is this man's first year as a starter and went in as the 7th seed and beat the 2 seed. Not even just beat them. I'm talking about, I'm glad Red's not here, but he abolished the Cowboys, man. That team in general, Jordan Love and Aaron Jones and everybody out there just abolished the Cowboys. But Jordan Love, man, the progression that he made all year long was awesome to see. It was awesome to see that they got another franchise guy that they're probably going to get 1 Super Bowl out of. But hey, 1 Super Bowl is better than none. I'll be honest with you.
Yep. And listen, Jordan Love, I thought he could be good. I thought there was an interesting element to his game when he was at Utah State. We talked about him during the draft. We've watched him play when he was at Utah State. We talked about him there is something there that a lot of players don't have. He has that Patty Mahomes-ish ability. Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, these things that Lamar Jackson, he does things other quarterbacks can't do. It's this new age of quarterback. And we saw it, the big question, Utah State, does he transfer to the league? Can he play normal? Can he be a quarterback where timing, accuracy, all those other things, can he do the other things besides, off platform, throw it off your back foot to the back of the end zone, 40-yard rope? Like, yeah, that's his best ability, but can he be a quarterback? And we have seen all season, yeah, those last about, 13, 14 games, yeah, he is a guy. He can be a legitimate quarterback in the NFL. He's going to be a star. Him and C.J. Stroud are going to be so fun to watch over the next 15 years. Like,
the league is in good hands, I'll tell you that. The
great
league is
hands.
in great hands.
These youngsters, man, and I don't know how the Packers keep doing it, but, we questioned them when they drafted them. It was just like a lot of people questioned the Lions with their draft picks this season. I mean, most of these guys know what they're doing. Yeah, you're going to get misses. It's the draft. You're not going to hit on every player, but, to get the prodigy in there, to get the youngster in there, to learn from Aaron Rodgers. He gets to witness Aaron Rodgers, 2-time MVP, back-to-back, and then Aaron went through a lot of crap too. So he also he learned how to be a professional too, kind of learned some things along the way when Aaron was in the BS with everything that he was a part of with the whole vaccination shit. So it's like, hey, shout out to Jordan Love. Got to learn from one of the best, and now you get to become one of the best. And, yeah, he is going to be an absolute star next season and for the rest of his career. And shout out to the Packers, man. Just keep on getting it right. Just keep on dang getting it right.
Keep on hitting, dude. I'm telling you.
Well, speaking of another team in that division who is going to the conference championship, it would have been beautiful to see this Lions squad.
Oh, dude,
face
I was
the Packers.
really hoping it would be. I was really hoping it would be Lions versus Packers in NFC Championship game. That would have been awesome.
It would have been so awesome, bro. But
that would have been like Packers versus Remember when Packers and the Bears made the NFC Championship game? Yeah, I would have loved that to happen so bad, bro. That would have been amazing.
Lions versus Packers on Ford Field. Oh my gosh,
Lions ain't losing that game, dude.
That place would have been rocking.
That game.
That place would have been rocking. Woo-wee. But, yep, the Lions did move on, unlike the Packers, and they face the 49ers in that conference championship. Let's see how happy was Dan Campbell after this win. What did he say to the team CDM? Let's watch what he had to say.
Let's listen to it.
You guys are unbelievable, man. I'm telling you, we talked about it all year. This started a long time ago. You're built for this. You were built for this, man. And look what you guys did. You went out there, and it's another hot team that we knocked off.
Yeah.
It's the next hot team that you knock off. Do you know how hard it is to win in this league in the playoffs?
Very hard.
You understand what you're doing right now? What we're capable of? That's 2. All right, that's 2. We got 2 to go. With a bye in the middle. I'm unbelievably proud of everybody in here, man. Coaches, players. That's a way to mount up, man. That's a fucking difficult team to beat, man. All right, I got one game ball. Man, in the game, need to play. Derek Barnes.
Hey, man, love y'all boys, man. From the support in the linebacker room, the coaches, staff, organization, offense, man. 3 years, man. It took me 3 years to get the first interception. But it means...
Damn, what a first way to get an interception.
People who believed in me. A lot of people didn't. The room. This ball, I got to give it to the linebacker room because I said we was going to bring one back, and God, we did.
And that's pretty much
it's time to go bite some kneecaps off now, baby.
Yes, they kept going on.
I will go to war for this man.
Oh, God. And you could hear the emotion from him, man. Like, he's been there. He played for this team. He loves that city. The city loves him. He embodies that city, man. And, to watch the Lions finally break through to get a chance at a Super Bowl berth, man, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing, man. And,
we've never seen it happen.
You're preaching, man. Like, it's crazy to just see it, first of all, but to think about the Lions They can go to the Super Bowl, CDM. They can go to the Super Bowl.
It's crazy, bro. I've never been so happy for an organization that has just been the trash pile of the NFL. I thought it was the Browns. It's really the Lions.
Lions have been bad.
The Lions have been terrible, bro. And they had Matthew Stafford and Megatron on the same team and still couldn't get anything
Barry
done.
Sanders.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah, they had Barry Sanders and still couldn't get to a Super Bowl. They got to an NFC Championship with him, but didn't get to a Super Bowl. And, it's awesome to see, 3 years. It took 3 years to build this team up for Dan Campbell. And finally, it's starting to show. The work's starting to show. They're peaking. They're peaking really high right now, and they're peaking at the right time, too. The question is, obviously, can the Lions pull this off? Can the Lions get this done? And I think they can. I think the Lions can do this. I feel like they have the offense to really compete with that 49ers defense as well. Obviously, they're two-headed dragon in the backfield with, Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. And then you get, the guy to sum it all up is Jared Goff, dude. People who forgot about him, who didn't believe in him. When we saw the trade between them and L.A., we were like, oh, well, Matthew Stafford's going off to be great. Detroit, just got another mid quarterback. He's got the first Detroit win. He's got the first. He did something Matthew Stafford never did in his 9-10 years at Detroit. He never won a playoff game. Jared Goff's third season as a starter there, and guess what? He's won 2 playoff games. It's insane, and I love it. I love that Dan Campbell, being the hometown boy, the first team that he ever played for, coming back and, finally getting them to where they obviously need to be and no longer being the laughing stock of the NFL anymore. And I love it, dude. I think they can get it done against the 49ers. Will it be just a knockout, drag out for this team? Yes. But I think the Lions have something the 49ers really don't have right now, and that's a chip on their shoulder and grit. And this team is all about grit, dude. And they can get it done. I believe they can get it done.
Yeah, man, they can. They can get it done. And, man, it's crazy to think about what this team has been through, where they are now, and genuinely, this team is good enough. It's not about, this isn't a house money. This isn't a Cinderella run. This is a team that's built up over the last 3 years since Dan Campbell's been there. And they have built a team with the identity of Detroit, the identity of Dan Campbell. And they have the culture, man. It is so obvious watching his post game. When he goes to the post game with the media, in the locker room, it's you can see how much those players love him, how much they've embraced his culture and embraced what he is bringing to this team. And, man, all I got to say is this team, Detroit is America's team right now. Everybody wants Detroit.
You can't forget about the state of Michigan, man. The state of Michigan is Dan Campbell's place, man. The state of Michigan is behind that man 100%. And I agree with you on that as well. The Lions are America's team. Throw the Cowboys out. They're done.
None.
The Lions are the team that America wants to win this Super Bowl.
Sadly, Red could not attest or deny that when it comes to the
I feel like he would kind of agree.
I think he would too, because he is very mad. Sadly, we don't get to see him rant about his Cowboys. But no, man, it's beautiful. 12-5 season, and they were terrible that first season when Dan Campbell was around, and people were already calling for his head. Started 1-6 last season. People were calling for his head, and how they finished last season. We thought they could be great this year. We thought they could win the division, but it was all talk, and now them actually getting here with an opportunity at a Super Bowl, it is just a surreal moment to be a NFL fan, man. It's just, what is going on? What is going on? We're about to get the Lions in the Super Bowl possibly. They got another step and another moment. They gotta get one more win to get there. And Dan Campbell talked about in that video, two more, man. We just need 2 more. And you get a bye in the middle.
And a bye in the middle, man. I mean, that gets you hyped up, man. That gets you hyped up and ready.
Run through a wall. Let's go.
I'm going to war for this, man. We're biting kneecaps off of anybody. Yes. It's on site.
On freaking site. But yeah, man, that's really all I got to say. Lions, wow, awesome. They can pull this off. to answer the question, they can pull this off and they can bring a Super Bowl. And I mean, I would kill to be at that parade. So rooting for them. I think a lot of people are. And, you know, when it comes to that draft class, never question the Lions again. Jahmyr Gibbs is an absolute dog. He is so freaking good, bro. He is so good.
Just think, Bill O'Brien had this guy. Bill O'Brien had this guy in our offense at Alabama and still didn't produce what the Lions are doing with this kid right now. He is an absolute unit.
Yeah.
And we will never. And here's another thing. How did Aiden Hutchinson obviously fell to them in his draft class, but the way Aiden Hutchinson's playing, man, how did he not go number 1 overall? And I'll tell you why. The Jaguars are stupid. The Jaguars are blind oafs in that front office if they did not see what Aiden Hutchinson was able to do. And now look at him, bro. He's going for an NFC championship.
NFC championship, had a sack, made an impact in the game. And, you know, hey, shout out to the Lions. Shout out what they brought and what they can do. And they got America's support. They got my support. I imagine I got your support.
They got my support.
There it is. So, hey, let's see what they can do. Let's see if the Lions can do this whole thing. I'm excited. I would love to come back next week and talk about how they got their chance in the Super Bowl, but obviously we got to wait a week for that. Well, let's keep this thing rolling, CDM. Let's get on to another game that was incredible. Cinema every single time these two teams face off. Chiefs versus Bills. It's the new rivalry. It's the rivalry we all love and want at this point in the playoffs. And you know the Bills have a lot of questions after this season. A lot of money they got to be dishing out. A lot of controversy around which players want to stay. So, but shout out to the Bills. Everything they've overcome over the last 3 seasons, and you know they fell short every year. But man, it's an interesting team, and I know you don't have much love lost seeing that team lose in your division. Oh well.
Come join us in Cancun, babe. It's pretty nice.
I love the Cancun memes. Tua seeing Josh Allen in the resort.
Yeah, just give him that side eye, you know. You're just like, what's up, man? Took you a while to get here.
It's nice here, man.
Yeah, it's pretty nice, man. How's Patrick doing?
Hey, man. I know Patrick's doing good, but also Travis Kelce's brother, Jason Kelce, might be enjoying retirement.
Man.
He
the
might
man
be enjoying
of the
retirement,
people.
man. He might be. Let's take a look at how much he was enjoying possible early retirement here at the Chiefs game. Oh,
look at him, man. That was right after Travis's touchdown, too. 22-yard touchdown. He was screaming, bro.
20 to 10-degree weather here. You know, no shirt. Beanie on.
Beer in hand.
Chug the beer. Look at that athleticism, by the way.
Athleticism, dude. Just an athlete.
Dude, that is 38, 36 offensive lineman. Still got it. Still got it, bro. I mean, come on now. That's next level,
man of the
bro.
people, man.
That's next level. But he's not the top of the conversation. Obviously, the top of conversation is them Chiefs. They just keep doing it, bro. They just can't lose. They can't find a way to not be in the AFC Championship. Patty Mahomes is they are. This is a legitimate dynasty run. We're getting to witness. We watched the New England. Never thought we'd get to see anything like that again. And guess what? We're witnessing it again. So, CDM, give me your thoughts, man, on the game. And you know, there was a lot of conversations if. You know, the Chiefs, they're taking a step back this year. They don't got the weapons, but guess what? They're in the AFC Championship again. So, are the Chiefs back? And give me your thoughts on the game, CD.
Man, I just want everybody to know, Patrick Mahomes still plays football. So, until that man doesn't wear a Chiefs uniform anymore, obviously they're not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. That's just my way of looking at it. I mean, until this man does not play football anymore, he still owns the Bills. We all know the Bills owner is not really the owner. It's actually Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs, because obviously I don't know why they can't get over the hump. They can play any other team in the playoffs and win except the Bengals and the Chiefs. They can't get over the Chiefs hump no matter what. Mm-mm. And Josh Allen being the man he is, the playmaker he is, I mean, I wouldn't say this game is all his fault. I would say the defense didn't really step up, but the most important thing that it came down to was a field goal. Mm. And Tyler Bass, man. I mean, you can blame it on the wind, but ultimately that thing just curved right. I mean, just straight right. And that's not what Buffalo fans want to hear, man. Nobody wants to hear the ball goes wide right. But this game, as you said before, every time these teams play, if it's in the regular season or the postseason, it's always going to be a great game. I believe it's the next coming of Peyton Manning and Tom Brady type rivalry coming. Obviously Josh being Peyton and the Super Bowl champ being Patrick Mahomes because he's actually won a Super Bowl. Unlike Josh Allen. I mean. Yeah, I just have nothing good to say about the Bills. I will say this is Stephon Diggs, man, you had to catch one deep ball and you let that thing go through your hands and you blamed it on Josh Allen. That was totally on you, man. Like Josh laid that thing out there for you and you dropped it, which if you catch that ball and you're in scoring position, then you possibly take the lead. But this game was awesome, man. And the Chiefs never, to me, took a step back. Patrick Mahomes never took a step back. Travis Kelce being called out for losing his touch, being 30-something years old and possibly retiring, never lost his touch in this game. Obviously, they're the best quarterback, wide receiver, tight end duo that we've seen. They passed Tom Brady and Gronk for most touchdown passes between those two. Patrick Mahomes, ever since he's been a starter the past 6 years, he has made the AFC Championship. Hey, this is not new to him. This is not new to him at all. No matter if he has to play at home, play in the Super Bowl, play on the road, he's not going to lose. And this was his first playoff game. And one of the Bills players came out and said, hey, he's never been here before. He's played here during the regular season, but he's never played here during the postseason. I would go check Patrick Mahomes' Twitter right now because he came at this man. It's insane.
That's right.
Patrick Mahomes never ceases to surprise me on what he does on the field. Like, I know we talk about Lamar Jackson and what he does and Josh Allen, what he does. They're all different players. Patrick Mahomes, he's one of the most complete players I've seen play the game of football. When his elusiveness, getting out of the pocket, his way to extend plays and put the ball downfield and keep his eyes downfield, reading defenses. I mean, the list goes on and on and on about Patrick Mahomes. I mean, there's not much more I could say about him. I'll say more about Josh Allen. Josh Allen did everything he could in this game to get into the right position. Oh, hello there. How are you, child? Pause this real fast. So back to what I was saying. Chiefs, Bills, cinema everywhere. Patrick Mahomes, absolute dog. Josh Allen did everything in his power to get this job done. And Joe Brady being the offensive coordinator, stepping up and getting that role. This Bills offense looked awesome. I mean, the run game throughout the season looked completed. They looked like a complete overall team. But I just don't know why they can't get over this hump of beating Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I just don't understand it why. But the Bills are in some trouble now, especially coming in this offseason. I believe their cap hits at like $42 million.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I saw it earlier too. Let's see.
And then Josh Allen's cap hits at 47. Cap hit is at $47 million. So I don't really know what the Bills' next move is in this coming offseason. I think you part ways with Von Miller and possibly look into a trade place for Stephon Diggs. Because he just went downhill this midseason. He did not look like the Stephon Diggs we were used to seeing these past 2 years in Buffalo. I mean, him and Josh Allen didn't look like they were on the same wave or anything. I mean, it just didn't look right.
Yeah, man, it is. The whole situation with Stephon Diggs was, I mean, I don't know what to make of it when it comes to, did he personally take a step back? Is predicted about $45 million over the cap. So yeah, there's some salary cap hell, man. I mean, as a Saints fan, I know exactly what that means. They can get out of it with restructured contracts and everything. I just think, there's some players on this team that have to get paid too. Gabe Davis has got to get paid. If you're getting rid of Stephon Diggs, that's your new number one, which Gabe Davis is a guy. So that's not a terrible number one. And with your two tight ends, when it comes to players, that's not a bad thing, but you got to replace Stephon Diggs with somebody. I do think you got to get rid of Stephon Diggs with this team because this guy, a lot of things have come out recently, and him kind of taking a step back this season, like you said, kind of opens the door to that as a possibility and, not a bad thing. But, yeah, I mean, this game, though, man, I mean, the Chiefs, I mean, who doubts this team anymore? Like, genuinely, who doubts the Chiefs anymore? Going into this game, I told myself, I said, I'm not picking against the Chiefs. Like, I got to be proven that this team will lose. Like, they should have beat the Bills the first time because of a couple of inches forward and a terrible play by a player that did not play in the divisional round, Kadarius Toney. That was probably why the Chiefs actually won. Okay, that's just mean. But
no, it's truthful.
It's the truth. It's the truth. But
truth hurts, man.
But I mean, Isaiah Pacheco, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, this Chiefs team is different than it's been kind of over the last few years when it comes to the run game and their defense. Even though they allowed 24 points, the 24 points is to the Bills offense. It's been playing some really dang good ball with Joe Brady at the helm, offense coordinator. Mm-hmm. You know, holding Josh Allen to under 200 passing yards. You know, yeah, Josh Allen did cook on the ground, 72 rushing yards, 2 tuds on the ground. But, like, when their leading rusher is Josh Allen with only 72 yards and you're holding him under 200 yards, it's a pretty solid day if you're asking me when it comes to defense. Obviously, you would like to see some turnovers there. Hard to beat Josh Allen without forcing him into turnovers. You have to pull it off anyways. But like you said, it does come down to a missed field goal. Special teams, very similar to the 49ers Green Bay game. It's just special team. All three phases are so important in playoff football.
Oh yeah, in the postseason, every team matters, bro. You have to go out there and do your job.
Yes.
And like one other player I was going to highlight is Isaiah Pacheco, man. I mean, I've seen a lot of running backs run hard, but this man takes another spot. He runs so angry, bro.
Dude.
He runs like an Oompa Loompa trying to chase after Willy Wonka, man. Like, it sounds childish, but it's facts, bro. He runs angry, and for them to get that ball back and him run on that what was it, like a 3rd and 7, and go and get that first down to ice the game. I mean, what more could you ask for? And like everybody thought that Clyde was going to be their running back, and I thought so as well. He had a good rookie season, but Isaiah came in and just took that man's job.
Yeah,
and
he stays healthy.
Just insane to see. Huh?
And he stays healthy. You know, Clyde has it.
Yeah, and he's completely healthy too. Like I haven't seen him injured recently. I think he got injured during the regular season, but only for like one game. Other than that, he's been healthy the entire year, and he's one of the biggest pieces in that offense.
Yeah, man, he is special. What a hit, Rutgers boy. And, you know, with him and Clyde, that's a nice little two-man punch, too, with Clyde. I mean, Clyde didn't really ever touch the ball. He was only out there for 2 rushes and the 1 catch for negative yards. So Clyde's really not getting any touches anymore. He's on the field, but he doesn't get touches. And Isaiah Pacheco's easily taking that role. And I've got nothing but great things to say about Isaiah Pacheco. I know Patty Mahomes got the win, and Patty did a lot of great things, played great. You know, Patty played like Patty. And Travis Kelce had 2 touchdowns. Travis Kelce's still that guy. People think he's washed. I don't think so. And, you know, for the Chiefs to do this without sacks, you know, without an interception, it's like, okay, that's pretty impressive. And the defense still played pretty dang good. So shout out to them. You know, you still lock up Stephon Diggs. Khalil Shakir, though, for the Bills, he's a little bit of a dog, man. He's a good little player, that receiver for the Bills, Shakir.
7 catches, number 10.
Touchdown. I mean, he looked good. So Bills, shout out to the Bills, man. I mean, wild last 3 seasons, you know, with controversies, with terrible situations, you know, with the shooting out there in Buffalo, with DeMar Hamlin's situation, with this whole entire media explosion, with, you know, what he said in Sean McDermott said in the locker room with his, you know, 9/11 comments. I mean, they can't just have a clean season when it comes to the media with a situation with just bad luck. So, you know, I've got respect for the Bills with all they've had to overcome, but, you know, I'm not going to be shocked if we see some change, you know. These teams' windows are not as big as they used to be. You know, it's hard to win a Super Bowl, and it's hard to be consistent. People wanted Mike McCarthy out after 12-5, can't make it to the Super Bowl, and rightfully so. Your championships are the biggest thing. It's not about winning 12 games, 11 games, making the playoffs. Once you get this good, it's about winning Super Bowls, and these teams are not doing it, and the Bills are one of those teams. They've suffered for a long time. I know that team backs Sean McDermott like no other, but call me crazy. I would not be shocked if they they think about maybe moving on. I don't know if there's another guy out there that could.
I could see that.
I just don't know if there's another guy that you could replace him with and say, all right, he's genuinely better, because Bill Belichick's most likely not going to go to the Buffalo, even though it's a hell of a job. I doubt he'd go.
I was about to say Bill Belichick's name. Or I was about to just imagine him and Josh Allen.
Oh, wouldn't that be beautiful? Oh, my God.
I'd hate it. I'd hate it.
I bet like a Mike Vrabel.
So much.
I would love to see Mike Vrabel with the Bills. Bring that culture to the Bills. Maybe that's what they need. I don't know. I feel like the Bills locker room is great. So it's like, do you get rid of this guy? Do you run it back? But how many times can you run it back? You're losing a lot of players. So I don't know. The Bills are such a situation where it felt like if they were going to get it done, it was going to be this year. Of course, you run into KC, and what usually happens again. So, man, I don't know. I don't know what the Bills do. I don't know. I think they get rid of Stephon. I think we see some moves being made.
I think Von Miller's gone.
Yeah, I mean, he did nothing. He just stole money this year, bro. Like, that's all he did.
Yeah, he just robbed.
It was a robbery for them. I mean, he's older. You can't expect him to go out there and put up 12 sack seasons anymore. But a little impact, just something. Just anything.
Bro, what do you mean? Khalil Mack put up 16.
No, I said just a little impact. I didn't say Khalil Mack.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah.
No, Khalil Mack. Oh man, he's still that guy. But
he's still that guy.
But I mean, Von Miller, he got a sack. But I mean, no, he didn't. He didn't get a sack. He got 2 tackles, one tackle, 2 total tackles, 1 solo. So very little impact. So it's not Von Miller we've seen before. So, and you brought him in to be Von Miller, you needed him to be that guy, and he just didn't show up. Yeah. So, hey, shout out to the Chiefs. They just always win. They just don't know how to freaking lose. They always make it to this damn conference championship and put themselves in a situation. And hell, if they make it to the Super Bowl again, this team, man, they're going to get kind of hard to root for, because I'm rooting for the Ravens, but
I'm rooting for the Ravens.
I love the Chiefs. I love the Patty. So it's starting to turn into this Patriots dynasty where everyone's going to hate them. So wouldn't be shocked by that. So, but
wouldn't be shocked at all.
Hey, man, I think that'll wrap us up for this NFL playoff recap. The games have been insane, but we've also had some insane movement around the NFL when it comes to coaches being hired, coaches being fired. We're seeing today was the first time you get in-person interviews. We saw some already some action. We told y'all at the beginning of the pod, a guy getting hired. We're going to start off our coaches hired and fired segment here with the Titans landing their guy, bringing in Brian Callen. That's Callahan. All right. As their next head coach youngster. But we know how good this offense has been for the Bengals, and what Joe Burrow has done. Can he do the same thing that he did with Joe? With Will Levis. So hell of a move, kind of start this coaching carousel off. I know we've already had Gerard Mayo be announced. It was kind of felt like, all right, he's going there. Antonio Pierce, love to see that coming back with the Raiders. They kind of announced that already as well, and he earned that spot. So, but this is the first free agent, I would say, when it comes to coaches being hired. Brian Callen was rumored for offensive coordinator jobs at other places. Ends up getting the head job over there with the Tennessee Titans, as they looked to be probably heading to a rebuild, with a young quarterback, Derek Henry out the door probably via trade. So, I mean, CDM, give me your quick thoughts. It happened right before the pod. I know it was kind of a sprung on us, but give me your thoughts on the Titans move here. Do you like it?
I like it. I think, as you said, it's going to be nice for a rebuild mode now for the Titans. You had Derrick Henry for a while, but, the past 8 years, you got to an AFC championship. You were the 1 seed, but you ultimately lost to 2 better teams. Nothing against Mike Vrabel at all. He came in there with a culture as well. He came in with the Bill Belichick mindset of, having that hard-nosed defense, and they did have that for a while. But now that you have a rookie quarterback going into a second year, Derrick Henry's exiting the door, it is time to get the rebuild mode going, and I think you have to build it all. I feel like you have to build the offense around Will Levis mostly, and then work on that defense for sure and getting more defensive pieces. But it is a nice one. It's a young guy finally getting his feet wet, and as being a head coach, it's a different game. It's a different style now. All these decisions are up to you. Hopefully he can make it play out, kind of like Dan Campbell did, give it like a 3-4 year process, and maybe they'll be somewhere possibly in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. but it's going to be a nice new change for the Tennessee Titans going into their future with Will Levis as their starting quarterback. I don't know what's going to happen to D-Hop. I don't mind D-Hop staying on the Titans for a little bit. Just to give Will Levis another comfort blanket to throw the ball to until they can get a guy in the draft.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was looking up these stats, and I mean, everyone knows how good the Bengals offense has been, and when you look at the stats, it just shows how effective this offense has truly been. 12 wins in 2022, 10 wins in 2021, and obviously they put up 27 points in 21 and 26 points in 2022. This year they take a step back, obviously with Joe going out and stuff, but obviously this team offensively has been very impressive. With Brian Callahan at the helm, so I love it for the Titans. Kind of taking a different approach here. Going after a play caller maybe instead of the culture locker room guy like a Mike Vrabel. So, a lot of these teams like this, culture and like this move. It kind of feels like you're either hiring a culture guy or a play caller now. The difference between that is, a Shanahan, a Mike, a Matt LaFleur versus a Dan Campbell or Mike Vrabel. So, the Sean McVays, those are play callers. Or you go Mike Vrabel, Dan Campbell, they're a locker room guy. So you're seeing this shift, and it's either or, in my opinion, when it comes to hiring guys. And, and Antonio Pierce, that's a locker room guy. He's going to hire good coaches around him to build the systems when it comes to offense and defense. But, the locker room just loves him. And, we're starting to see more of those guys get hired, but this obviously is a play caller's move. They kind of trying to shift the narrative, shift the culture around there, which I don't personally hate. I think I like to see change. If you're going to make change, if you're going to move on from Mike Vrabel, move on from him fully. Let's get a different culture, different, moxie, different kind of a system in the building. So I like the move. Obviously, like I said, the offense for the Bengals has been pretty impressive over those last few years. You got some Super Bowls, and was he the offensive coordinator then? I couldn't tell you actually. But
I don't think he was. Pause real fast. Joel Embiid's got 56 points through 3 quarters.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. He's playing Wemby, right? They're playing San Antonio?
Yeah, I think he's like 13 shy of the 76ers single game record.
Oh my gosh. Jeez, man. Jeez.
Yeah, 13 shy of breaking 76ers single game record. Yep.
Golly. That's
chasing Wilt Chamberlain right there, son. Chasing Wilt.
Jason Wilt. We're chasing Wilt.
Yeah, I don't know if he was the offensive coordinator for the Bengals when they made the Super Bowl, but as you, I like the way you say it. They need a play caller type of. They need a play caller type of guy, and I feel like this will make the offense a little bit more explosive as well. I don't think Will Levis right now is that pocket passer type of guy that Joe Burrow is, who can scramble around when needed. Will Levis wants to get physical. Will Levis wants the ball in his hands.
Yep.
So I feel like this is going to be This is going to be a transition into a new era for Tennessee. I feel like getting Derrick Henry out will suck, but ultimately in the long run, it will help you out with cap space a lot more. So you'll be able to add a lot more pieces around Will Levis and that defense as well.
Yeah, he was not on the he was the offense. He's been the offensive coordinator since 19. He won a Super Bowl with the Broncos when they won it in the 50th Super Bowl. So he's got some Super Bowl experience. He's been around the block for a while. So shout out. Love to see when these young guys that took their time and been around the league get a chance to kind of lead a team. So shout out to Brian Callahan. I know the Saints brought him in for an interview for the offensive coordinator job. So to see him get his opportunity elsewhere as a head guy, hey, I'm glad we at least brought him in for an interview. So shout out to the Saints. Desperately need a guy that can actually call offense. But yeah, shout out. Titans got a good guy there, it seems like. So making the first big move when it comes to these free agents and coaching. Speaking of coaches that people wish they were fired, Mike McCarthy has been hit with a lot of media CDM, and I wish we had read for this conversation.
I've been seeing it a lot lately, man. And I'll hop right on this one, man. I mean, I don't feel like they should get rid of him. Yes, consecutive 12-5 seasons and not getting close to a championship is not the best look. But would you rather go 12-5 for 4 consecutive seasons, or would you rather be like the Panthers, the Bears, go 3-14 and have a high draft pick and not even not even sniff the playoffs, more or less a conference? Realistic. And I know Ethan would, contradict me and just, probably wouldn't agree with me. And that him being the Cowboys fan, I understand that. But I look at it as like, I don't think it's really Mike's fault fully. I don't fully feel like it's Mike McCarthy's fault of where the Cowboys are. I feel like there's other things. And one of the biggest things is Jerry Jones being the owner of this damn team. Jerry Jones, I don't like Jerry Jones being the owner of the Cowboys anymore. I don't feel like he's doing the right things for this team to get them where they need to be. And I know he thinks he has the best interest for his team, but where have they gone where have they gone since you've been the owner? Nowhere since they've won their last Super Bowl in 95. And you were the owner then and they won a Super Bowl. Where have they been since? Wild card rounds, they've been to the playoffs, but they haven't sniffed it. Mike McCarthy has been one of the only head coaches I've seen consistently bring winning seasons back to the Cowboys. They need to get over that hump, and one of the humps is Dak Prescott. I don't think Dak Prescott's that guy.
Ooh.
I don't think Dak Prescott's that guy at all. I'm sorry. There's a lot of hype around him. I understand the Cowboys were undefeated at home, that they have one of the best. They had the best offense in the league. But when it comes down to the big moments, it doesn't feel like that Dak can get it done. I don't feel like that's the case. CeeDee Lamb suddenly just disappears out of nowhere. I didn't hear his name called that much during the Packers game. The defense fell off. I mean, it's not all on Mike McCarthy and what he has to do as a head coach. It starts with ownership, and Jerry Jones is one of the biggest problems for this Cowboy franchise. I don't think they should get rid of Mike, and I agree. And I like that they're keeping him back for this season, but they have to see some major changes on Jerry Jones' side of being the owner, and that's getting more people into this franchise to make them a lot better into being a championship franchise. Because they're close, man. They are close. I believe. I mean, I've heard so many Dallas Cowboys fans tell me this year that it was their year. And I just want to know, I was like, do y'all get T-shirts made of that? Like, do Cowboys fans go out and just get T-shirts saying, this is our year? Because if you do, I'm sorry. Not every year is going to be your year. I just don't feel like right now the Cowboys, with the ownership that they have, are going to be able to go win a championship. And I feel like they need to get rid of Jerry Jones. I think Mike McCarthy does a great job. I mean, I would rather have consecutive 12-5 seasons and making the playoffs, rather than being where some of these other teams are right now and not even in the playoffs and, finding ways to get better players. So, no, I like that they're keeping Mike McCarthy, give him one more season, and if it's the same result, then obviously get rid of him. But if you can get over this hump of just getting in the playoffs and not winning that first round, then Dallas can go and be a championship caliber team.
Yeah, man. I mean, I hear you. There's a lot of smoke, a lot of controversy when it comes to should they kept him and who's in the fault. And man, when it comes to Mike, I've always liked Mike. I've always thought he's a pretty good coach. He's won a championship. Like, it's hard to win a Super Bowl. So I've got respect for Mike McCarthy. My problem is with this team is there was a lot of weird vibes in that Packers game. With the Packers taking the ball first, winning the toss, taking the ball first, 7-minute drive, get a touchdown. It felt like immediately they let that impact them way too much. CeeDee Lamb, like you said, barely heard his name during the game. The only times I heard it was when he was complaining on the field that he wasn't getting the ball or it was a bad pass. Or
Micah Parsons didn't really have a good game.
No, and it's just and it's one of those things, man, like it's bigger than just the play calling for me. It's bigger than just, what he says in the media. It's like this team just felt like they had a lot of dysfunction this year when it came to the biggest moment. Like, there was no dysfunction, and then in the biggest game, all the dysfunction. Like, the defense has been incredible all year, and then they just absolutely shit the bed against the Packers. And
then you go undefeated at home the entire season and then find a way to just shit the bed against the Packers.
Preach. It doesn't make any damn sense, man, when it comes to how this consistently happen. It just feels like they've got this feeling, this thought in their head that it's impossible to win, and they're always going to try and win. This is football. These guys are not going out there to lose. Well, I understand that, but how they play, how they look when they go out there every single week, compared to the playoffs, is an entirely different team. A lot of finger pointing, a lot of, hey, what the heck's going on? CeeDee Lamb pouting on the bench. It's like Mike McCarthy had to talk to him after the first drive. It doesn't make any sense how this happens. How does Mike McCarthy allow this to happen? It's a culture thing. So that's one thing I don't like about Mike McCarthy. But like I said, the blame's got to be dished everywhere. Like, the defense was absolutely atrocious. The defensive plan was horrible. Couldn't stop Jordan Love. Couldn't get any pressure on him. When you did, Jordan Love found the wide open guys. Literally, I think every single receiver for the Packers was wide open. And I get it.
That too,
Losing
and then
Trayvon Diggs is massive.
you got to add in Aaron Jones as well. Aaron Jones running the rock. I mean, he looked unstoppable against that Dallas front seven. They looked like I don't think they barely got him in the backfield. He always found that offensive line opened up that front seven and just gave him a gateway to go to get extra yardage.
Dude, yeah, I mean,
especially in the red zone.
Yeah, he had 118, 3 touchdowns. It's like how does this defense that's been hyped up all season, talking about Dan Quinn should have taken a head coach, he could have taken a head coaching job. He's a head coach as a defensive coordinator, and then the biggest moment, you can't stop these guys. You can't even figure out anything when it comes to, making the biggest moments, biggest plays in the biggest moments. And Dan Quinn has an we've seen this consistently, just choke. Can't figure it out in the biggest moments. And yeah, you can throw Shanahan in there when it comes to the Atlanta play calling or whatever, but he was the head coach. He was the head coach in that Super Bowl that lost that game. And now you ring up, freaking what the Packers did to this team, what they rung up on them in the wild card round was 48 freaking points. So I hear the Mike McCarthy stuff. I get it. I'm not the biggest fan of Mike McCarthy's culture and what he's brought to Dallas, but he has won there, and he has won at a lot of places. When it comes to Green Bay, they won a lot of football there, won a Super Bowl. So I don't think we should be putting all on Mike McCarthy. I genuinely do not believe they wanted to fire him. So going into that game, everyone talked about what has to happen for them to have to fire him. I feel like almost exactly happened for them to fire him, and they were just completely shocked by it. You allowed 48 points. Yeah. The offense was anemic for most of the game, and then
dog shit.
It was horrible, and then all of a sudden, get your asses beat pretty badly by a Packers team that is genuinely pretty good. Jordan Love is a dog, but I don't think they even had a thought about firing this guy. And then what happened, and then that conversation comes up. I get it. I get it. You can't allow 48 points in a playoff game. So I think more blame needs to be dished onto Dan Campbell. I think there's plenty to be dished on Mike McCarthy with his culture and how he
Did
just
you say
didn't
Dan
have,
Campbell?
I mean, Dan Quinn. Sorry. Dan Quinn, their defensive coordinator. And then Mike McCarthy, he definitely deserves some of this flack for how this team just looked out of sorts from the beginning. They allowed one drive to impact the entire game, it felt like. And then, obviously, like you said, Jerry Jones he's got to make some changes. I don't know what it is. I would love to see one season.
It's either he makes changes or he's got to go, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I just would love to see one season where Jerry Jones was not the face of the Cowboys. Just stop doing this radio show you do every week. Stop making these post-game appearances like you're the most important person to talk to after a win or loss. I would love to see him just go incognito for an entire season, and only time we see him is the beginning of the season and the end of the season, no matter where it happens. It just feels like this entire franchise has become a caricature of Jerry Jones. It's not just the Cowboys. It's Jerry Jones's Cowboys. And I get it.
Yeah.
It's been like that for a while, but it's too consistent. We have seen this too consistently. This team come up short when they have too much talent and too much skill. It's ridiculous. I don't think you should have fired Mike McCarthy. I was shocked they didn't, just because of how the game played out. I don't think you should have, just because I really don't think they prepared for that. I don't think they prepared to fire Mike McCarthy. Who does when your coach goes 12-5, 12-5, 12-5? We very rarely see coaches have an amazing season and then they get fired. The only time I can truly remember in any sport was when the Toronto Raptors got rid of their head coach, and he was the coach of the year. I can't remember the guy's name right now off the top of my head.
Yeah, I remember that. Nick Nurse.
No, it wasn't Nick Nurse. They brought in Nick Nurse for the guy.
Oh, wait, no.
Oh, my God. It's going to hurt my brain. I got to look it up. Raptors head coach. What was that, 2018? No, it was like 2016.
It's 2019.
Dwayne Casey. They fired Dwayne Casey.
Yeah, there it is.
They fired Dwayne Casey after winning Coach of the Year for the Raptors after LeBronto happened. LeBron being LeBron. Shout out LeBron. Right there. Yeah, I mean, it's very rarely we see these coaches have great seasons and get fired. So I don't think it was a thing they thought of. So I don't love the idea of firing him. You got to get rid of Dan Quinn. Either he gets hired somewhere else as a head coach, start of that team if that's the case, or you just let him go. You got to change something because this defense.
Yeah.
Trayvon Diggs is a massive piece. I get that, but they shouldn't have paid that bad in the secondary losing Trayvon Diggs.
No,
season.
You shouldn't have that many wide open wide receivers downfield, bro.
It's ridiculous. So, but at the end of the day, I don't think that getting rid of Mike McCarthy would have just fixed this entire team. So keep them. If they suck next year, then you get rid of them. But all right, CDM, let's keep this thing rolling. Let's talk about another coach that was supposed to be fired. Apparently, everyone wanted to be fired after their meltdown this season, but they do move on from their defensive coordinator. The Eagles fire Sean Desai. He has had a lot of controversy surrounding him, but it also includes, hey, why not get rid of Nick Sirianni? Let's get rid of Nick Sirianni after he got you to the freaking Super Bowl last year. This coaching carousel, these fans want to get rid of coaches so fast. And I'm a Saint. I want to get rid of Dennis Allen. I'm not going to act like I'm some guy that was not part of this crowd that wants to get rid of their head coaches, but it's different. Like, this team made a Super Bowl. So, CDM, give me your thoughts on those rumors, because he's not being fired, but did you believe him? Did you agree with him?
Why? Why would you want to fire him? You just got to a Super Bowl. That's so stupid first off, Philadelphia fans are stupid. Philadelphia fans are the worst fan base besides the Cowboys.
Sure.
They're stupid. They don't know what they want, okay? If they don't go to an NFC championship or they don't make it out of the first round of the playoffs, they want to call everybody's name out and they want everybody's head. I don't understand what the problem is. Yes, does Nick Sirianni have an attitude problem, and does he bring some of the best attitude towards people? No. It showed from the Kansas City game when he yelled at all those Kansas City fans. Nobody liked that, but it's just the way he coaches. Mm-hmm. But you shouldn't have to. But nobody should be calling for this man's name after he just made a Super Bowl. Yeah, Super Bowl slumps happen, man. Super Bowl slumps are real. We've seen people go through Super Bowl slumps. You shouldn't call for the man's name after just after another bad year, not consecutively, just one bad year where it wasn't your year. You weren't ready for it. After you go 10-1 and then you go 1-6 the entire rest of the season, that's not. That falls on him, but that also falls on the players as well and the coaching staff. You just saw they fired the defensive coordinator after having all these amazing defensive players. You draft Jalen Carter, you have Jordan Davis. You have Brandon Graham right there. You have big play Slay in the secondary with other young but capable people in the secondary as well to help him out. Why call for the man's name? I don't believe the rumors. I don't believe it's going to happen. I believe that the Eagles just got hit with a really big Super Bowl slump. So, no, I don't believe that Nick Sirianni should be fired from the Eagles. I believe that, some things need to be looked into to make sure this type of season never happens again, to make sure another second half of this year's season where they just went 1-6 through their games, that doesn't need to happen again. But they need to go. There's no need to call for this man's name. Everybody needs to calm down about it. Okay, it's football. It's how it happens. Nick Sirianni his job should not be in jeopardy because of just one bad season and a playoff loss. It's not it falls on him, but it doesn't fully have to fall on him in general. There's other people that are around this organization that have to do with the players and how they play, including the players themselves.
Yeah, man. I agree. It's very similar to Mike McCarthy. I think it's worse because he's been to a Super Bowl. They started 10-0. I know the fall-off was horrendous, but there was a lot of this team lost both of its coordinators, man. That's hard to bounce back from. Their offensive coordinator and their defensive coordinator, and both of them look like they're going to be great coaches. So it's man, we need to Like, it's hard to bounce back after losing coordinators, man. Like, especially those guys. They were very good coaches. I think, Gannon, I know it wasn't beautiful for the Cardinals, but I do believe that the Cardinals will be good with him. And obviously, with Indianapolis, I love what they're doing over there. And, it's interesting, man. I don't know, man. Like, I didn't believe them to start with. I did not believe them at the beginning. Like, it didn't make sense. Things got a little heated, and then I was like, well, I mean, maybe, but, like, the only reason you do that is if you get a better coach, right? Very similar to Mike McCarthy. Like, all right, if you're going to fire this guy, are we going to get somebody better? Are we genuinely going to get somebody better? And how many coaches are better than, a Super Bowl appearance? All right, Bill Belichick, obviously. All right, I hear you. I hear you. What? Jim Harbaugh? All right, if you have a chance at him, cool. But do you genuinely think you have a chance at him? What? Mike Vrabel, is he better than Nick Sirianni? I mean,
yeah,
Vrabel hasn't made a Super Bowl, and then you get in some uncharted territory. It's tough. Like, all right, like, are you genuinely going to find a better coach? So it's like, I didn't believe it. And then I started thinking about it, and it didn't make any more sense than that. So,
well, another thing to me is just like, if you're going to fire a head coach, shouldn't you already have somebody like in your back pocket that you're thinking about?
There you go.
Not going into the offseason worrying, trying to figure out who your next head coach is going to be after you just fired a guy who took you to a Super Bowl a year prior. Like, I mean, it makes no sense to me of why they want to fire him. It's just Philadelphia being Philadelphia. They're crying. They're big tits about it because they're not where they want to be. They're in Cancun right now with everybody else. Okay, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, I promise you, Nick Sirianni is not gonna have a season happen like this again. Because if he does, then obviously, then you have concerns about firing him. If he does, but I don't feel like he is. I feel like they're going to come back next year and be the Philadelphia Eagles we projected them to be this year with the defense that they should have had. I mean, their defense is loaded.
It's
with
loaded.
So much talent, bro.
It's loaded, but they got cooked against the Bucs. So there's a lot of things. Getting rid of defensive coordinator Desai is a good start, I think. Getting rid of these guys. And speaking of a team that didn't fire their coach, that, as a fan base, as the Saints, repping the South, but, didn't get rid of Dennis Allen. There was a lot of rumors about that as a possibility. They shut those down, and he's going to be coming back next season. Did get rid of Pete Carmichael. Love that. Let's get some change. But I'll start us off here. Does Dennis Allen deserve another chance with the Saints? Deserve is a strong word. I mean, I feel like you got to win to deserve it. And he got more wins than he did last season. So 7-10 to 9-8. Improvement. All right. But Dennis Allen has never been a great coach. So it's hard to defend, man. It's hard to defend it. But I understand. Dennis Allen brought in Derek Carr. If you get a new head coach, do you get rid of Derek Carr? So I understand running it back. It's changed some things up. The defense was still pretty good. You got to get a pass rusher. Got to get a guy to replace Cam Jordan because that dude's just picking up cardio at this point. Love Cam Jordan, one of my favorite players, but he's getting washed. And, at the end of the day, all right. That's all I can say is, like, all right, Dennis Allen's back. Am I excited? Not really, but he's our coach. You
don't sound excited.
I'm not excited. There's nothing exciting about Dennis Allen. There's zero things to be excited about when it comes to Dennis Allen. Only thing that makes me excited is it's a prove-it year. Like, he's either staying because we make the playoffs, win our division, or he's gone because we didn't win the playoffs, get to the playoffs, or win our division. So no matter what, we're going to see either or. We're either keeping this guy because he's the guy, or we're getting rid of him because he's not the guy. So as a Saints fan, that's one thing to be excited about. Do I love it? I genuinely don't know how to feel about it. So, genuinely.
A lot of mixed feelings going on right now.
Got a lot of mixed feelings. A lot of mixed feelings about this one. So, I love to see that, they're not being dumb about it, though. We're not in a great salary cap spot. We're one of the oldest teams in the league. If you're going to make a move, it would have been probably this year, but it feels like who would want to coach the Saints? Who would want to come coach this team? Cap space is absolutely terrible. Got an older quarterback that you didn't bring in that's taking a lot of money, a lot of salary cap situations, older team. I mean, it's a team that who wants to take it? Bill Belichick's not taking this team, Would Vrabel come in? Maybe. Yeah, Jim Harbaugh's definitely not coming. So it's like, all right. I'm not a fan of it. Dennis Allen's got to prove something because he's not won anywhere he's been. But winning season this year got better. Give him another chance. I'm here for it. I'm a Saint forever, so no matter what, I'm going to be supporting him. I just hope we get a great offensive coordinator that can, modernize this offense, because it was the most there's a stat, CDM. Miami fan, usually feel good about this. You'll have the most innovative offense this season. The Miami Dolphins did. Number one innovative offense. New Orleans Saints was dead last by a lot. No motions, no pre-snap, movement, nothing. They're not showing anything. So we got to get a new guy in. I would love the passing game coordinator for the Rams. He's been rumored there. Some other guys, the quarterback coach for the Texans, would love to see him maybe get an opportunity with the Saints. So just give me someone in the Shanahan tree, please. It's obviously the best offense in the league. Just give me someone in that tree, and I'm happy. So, CDM, I'll send it to you. I imagine not much more to say about it, but Dennis Allen, does he deserve another season? How do you feel about that coming back to the Saints?
It was weird to see it happen, just because the biggest fire that I wanted to see was Pete Carmichael being gone. Yep. Just atrocious offensive coordinator, especially with all the pieces that he had around him. Derek Carr being the veteran quarterback that he has. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I mean, I get it. It's tough. The same situation's a tough situation.
You are in a tough situation, but obviously, if, oh my God, yes, please. Oh my God, please. Oh my God. But yes, I don't believe he deserved one more season. I thought this season he couldn't get it done with Derek Carr. It's somebody else's turn to try and get that job done with him. What are you doing, dog? But other than that, I don't really have much to say. You kind of summed it up all for me. You being the Saints fan, you obviously know a lot more about your franchise than I do. But I mean, give it one more season. As everybody says, give it one more season. If it doesn't pan out like everybody wants it to, then we need to part ways.
Yeah, I agree. Last season, we got to see what happens. Either he's staying or going. All right. Who dat, Saints all the way. All right, CDM, let's get this one over with. Rapid fire coaching, coach landing spots predictions, as we got only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left now. All right, only 5 left here. And I'll tell you, man, running out of spots for these coaches to go. And
yeah, for real.
CDM, I'll lay out the groundwork and I'll let you go. Opening spots. Oh, first of all, what do we got? The GM for the Carolina Panthers was hired, right? What's his name? What was it? Dan? What was it?
I don't have it on.
Dan Morgan, I got it.
Yeah, Dan Morgan. There it is.
There you go.
First round. He was a first round pick for him. Played 7 seasons, and then the last 3 seasons he was in the front office.
Wow, yeah, he's a former first round pick by him. That's actually kind of cool. I actually don't hate that. Kind of bringing a guy that's been in the building before. Yeah.
Yeah, he knows what it's supposed to be like.
Yeah, so just want to show that for the Carolina Panthers fans out there. So they got the GM in the building, but CDM, Atlanta Falcons, Carolina Panthers, Los Angeles Chargers, Seattle Seahawks, and the Washington Commanders are some opening coaching spots. CDM rapid fire. Where you got these franchises going? What coaches are they going to?
So, got you right here. Falcons. I got him getting Mike Vrabel. I like it. I think he brings a different culture to that place as well. Panthers, I got Brian Johnson, offensive coordinator from Philly. Feel like he can get a new spot down there. It'd be a nice, fresh start for him as well. Getting Bryce Young.
They did not like him with the Eagles. I'll tell you that much. They did not.
They did not. But I think the Panthers would be happy to have him, especially with the young crowd they have down there in that organization. Mm-hmm. I mean, who wouldn't want to coach Bryce Young? I mean, it's generational talent. Chargers, I have them getting Jim Harbaugh. I feel like he does leave Michigan. I think that the Chargers getting him with Justin Herbert would just be a match made in heaven for all of them. So Chargers getting Jim. Seahawks go to get Dan Quinn. I know a lot of people, including Red, did not like Dan Quinn. Obviously, you just said that he's not a head coach right now. But I believe the Seahawks would give him a better start, give him a better team, another team to work with who also has a good defense on that side and also good offensive players as well. And then the Commanders, and a lot of people think of this as a shock. Some people may think of this as a shock. I think they go out and get Bill Belichick. I think Bill Belichick with the Commanders, I don't think Bill's going away from coaching anytime. I think the Commanders getting him, they have the offense because Bill Belichick has never had like some good wide receivers in his coaching career. You have Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, and Jahan Dotson out there. You have Brian Robinson in the backfield. You have Logan Thomas at your tight end, and then you have Sam Howell as your quarterback for the moment, unless the Commanders, hey, get out of there. Unless the Commanders want to go out and draft a quarterback in this year's draft. But I feel like Bill would bring, and plus the defense on that, the defense for that team could be something great too. And he's such a defensive-minded coach. So I think the Commanders getting Bill Belichick would be a good play.
Yeah, man, I like those spots. Bill Belichick's an interesting piece because he's only interviewed for the Atlanta job, apparently. So imagine him doing more due diligence. But I have been hearing the Commanders are going to be trying to reach out to him very soon. So, I mean, today was the first time you get in-person interviews. So we're going to be seeing some guys on the move as we already did today with Brian Callahan. So for me, yeah, Atlanta, I got to go Bill Belichick, even though I hate it as a Saints fan. It feels like they really want him, with all the work they're going in to interview him. They've interviewed a lot of guys, though. So it also feels like Atlanta's doing their due diligence. You bring in every single candidate they could possibly bring in. But it feels like with Bill only reportedly only talking to the Falcons at this point. Obviously, that could change. He probably talked to some teams today. But for me right now, Bill Belichick, go into that team that's got a lot of players. All you need is a quarterback. You're in a position where you could either get a quarterback in the draft or you could trade that pick for a guy. So not a bad spot to be in if you wanted to go to a team that could, win that division. The South is not a great division. We saw that this year, and, can the Saints win that division? The Bucs, can they come back next season? Panthers feel like they're a couple years away. So it's a wide open division. So I would get why he wouldn't mind coming to the Falcons. With the Panthers, I'm going to go Bobby Slowick, coordinator from the Texans. Wow, what he did with that offense and CJ Stroud. Wouldn't it be kind of crazy for him to go to the Panthers and get to coach Bryce Young? The guy technically, reportedly, that they wanted over there with the Texans. But we're okay once, the Panthers jumped ahead to take him. So it would be interesting. I wonder if Bobby Slowick liked him a lot in the draft process, if he was a part of that team when it comes to the Texans that liked Bryce Young when the draft process was happening. Makes sense, even though Panthers' job, Bryce Young is an awesome piece to be able to coach, but there's a lot of holes on that team. It's not a very desirable job, so I don't think a veteran would go there. So like you kind of alluded to as well, get a younger guy that hasn't been a head coach yet to kind of maybe turn this thing around. Plus Tepper, he's not going to get a Bill Belichick. He's going to get a guy that he can keep under his thumb, this owner. Not a big fan of him. But, Bobby Slowick, Los Angeles Chargers, not going to Jim Harbaugh. I just think that's almost a done deal at this point. Makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Seattle Seahawks, I got Mike Vrabel laying in there. They need a culture shock.
Ooh,
they need a change. They need a change of their culture. And, like you said it, their defense and offense has great players, but offense has played good. The defense, they can't stop the run. Let's bring in a guy that, Mike Vrabel is a defensive guy, and he can turn that around. Yeah. And it's not the players. Like, they've got good players. It's more about they just need a culture shock. They need something that can maybe a guy that can motivate them a little bit more. Even though Pete Carroll, I would run through a wall for him. Maybe it was just a situation where let's just get a little bit of a change in here. If you're getting rid of Pete to bring in Vrabel, it's an interesting decision. If you're getting rid of Pete, might as well go after a play caller. But I feel like Mike Vrabel is gonna run into a situation where there's only a few jobs left, and I think the Seahawks would be willing to bring him in. Washington Commanders, I got them getting Ben Johnson from the Lions. I think what he's done with that offense is very similar to Slowick, and the Commanders, that's an interesting job. Everything changing with the ownership and everything, and do they have a quarterback? Is Sam the guy? We'll see. But with Ben Johnson, you'll find out immediately if that's your if that's your head coach, if Sam's the guy, if he wants to move on. So that's my, that's my landing spots for some of these coaches. CDM. All right.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right. We're gonna take a little break. We're gonna give y'all a little bit of something here, and then we'll be right back to give y'all the NFL draft preview as well as game picks. So see you in a sec. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. As we were taking that break, we had some big things happening In the NBA, the association records being broken for a franchise, the 76ers. Let's take a look here. Joel Embiid dropping 70 points, 18 rebounds, 5 assists, shooting 24-41, 21 rebounds. I mean, free throws there. I mean, holy smokes, what a game. What a game.
What a game for the big man.
Unbelievable performance there. So, but we're not talking about the NBA. We're not talking about all that. We are talking about the NFL still. And we're going to give a little bit of an NFL draft preview here to remind y'all. The draft podcast will be out soon. College Kings / The Pound Perspective draft podcast will be happening after the NFL season concludes, after the Super Bowl. So keep a lookout for that. We're going to be dropping all kinds of great content for that podcast. But kind of give you all an idea how we're feeling before we do this pod. Let's look at some of our top 5 picks this draft. Super early top 5 draft picks. We did allow ourselves to make trades. I didn't get crazy. CDM said, trades? We're making trades. So,
we're making trades.
CDM put on the GM hat. CDM put on the GM hat.
You know, right there, you know what I'm saying?
So, hey, lead us GM, CDM. What was your top 5 picks here in the NFL draft?
Well, technically, Chicago does have the first overall pick from that pick that Carolina traded them, but I don't have Chicago having the first overall pick. I have a team trading up to get a quarterback that they want, that they just hired a new head coach, and to start a new slate of this team. I have the New England Patriots trading up to the first overall pick to draft Caleb Williams with the first overall pick. Next up, I have the Washington Commanders staying with that second overall pick, and I have them going after Jaden Daniels. They're going to draft Jaden Daniels. I believe they do that. I believe Jaden Daniels is the second best quarterback coming off this board. I know Drake May, everybody has him going second, but Jaden Daniels' game and Drake May's game, obviously they differ. I feel like Jaden Daniels brings a little bit more to the table. At number 3, I have the Bears trading back from New England to get Marvin Harrison Jr. You've heard it right first, boys and girls. They're keeping Justin Fields in the windy city of Chicago, and they're getting him some more help on the outside. They're going to get MHJ Marvin Harrison Jr. to come and help that Bears offense go upward and onward to bigger and better things. At number 4, originally was the Arizona Cardinals, but I have another team trading up into the top 4, which would be the New York Giants going into the top 4 to go get Drake May as their franchise quarterback. I don't care what anybody says. Daniel Jones, Daniel Trashcan. He's not the guy. He's not the guy. It's 4 years, $160 million. Time and money just wasted. Just looking like it. But I have the Giants trading up to get Drake May. And then at number 5, the Chargers hold that pick, and I kept the Chargers at number 5. They will go and get Joe Alt. You know, when Jim Harbaugh gets that job in L.A., he loves his offensive linemen. You know, you saw what he did at Michigan. So I assume they want to go get more protection for Justin Herbert, better than they did last year, because last year the Chargers' offensive line just fell apart. There was nothing left. Justin Herbert kept getting hurt. And Joe Alt would be another great guy to put on that offensive line to start a new culture and to get that offensive line back where it needs to be. So, yeah.
I love it. Hey,
I went a little crazy.
Dude, respect them, because the trades you make sense. You know, the Bears are going to stick with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they make kind of sense,
Fields, makes sense. Giants seem like they're going to want a quarterback. Jaden Daniels, Drake May's out there. So I respect it. I like what you did there. Man.
Appreciate it.
Yes,
What you got for me, Nick?
Yeah, so I want to look calm. I wasn't making trades yet until we see these combines and everything. But like I said, very smart on those trades if they were to happen. I'm staying calm. No trades here, even though we're definitely going to see trades, as we always do. Top 5, it's interesting. I'm sticking with the Bears at number 1, and I do have them taking Caleb Williams. It just feels like they're going to be trending toward this direction after his combine, after his pro day. It's more than just Justin Fields' ability. Justin Fields is an incredible player, I think, and he will be a good starting quarterback for a long time. Money's a factor here, and I think the Bears are okay with, you know, taking a rookie contract again and not having to pay the money that Fields is going to be due soon. So they're going to try and reset the clock when it comes to the payments on their cap hit. So Caleb Williams at number 1 for the Bears for me. Number two quarterback as well in my class, Jaden Daniels, going to the Commanders. If I think Ben Johnson also lands there, I think that's a perfect match for them too, even though Jaden Daniels is not Jared Goff. Ben Johnson is a hell of a coach and a hell of a coordinator and a play caller to adjust his system that will fit Jaden Daniels. So I think it's a match made in heaven. It feels like D'Amico, D'Amico Ryan vibes, rookie coach, rookie player, could maybe, see this thing take off. Number 2 pick as well. So, Commanders at 2, taking Jaden Daniels. Number 3, I got the Patriots holding strong here. They need a quarterback. They're going to go get them one here with Drake May at number 3. I like Drake May a lot. He's a great player, man. And, there's some plays that he makes in college that he won't be able to make in the NFL, but there's plays that he makes that make you just like, wow, this guy has been really good for a long time. And I think he is as advertised. I think all 3 of these top 3 guys are very, 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 very good. I think 1, 2, 3 is quarterback. The order will be determined via trade sooner rather than later. Number 4, the Cardinals holding strong here, and they get Kyler Murray, a weapon. I think they also keep Kyler Murray. I think that's a big conversation. Do they keep Kyler? I think they should give him another chance. You drafted this guy pretty early. Marvin Harrison Jr. will help that as he is an absolute weapon. MHJ, Montavious Marvin. It is happening. He will be a Cardinal. Well, I'm going to probably change that pick later on, but that's what I'm thinking right
change
now.
That. Yeah.
It'll probably change. We'll see trades and stuff, but right now I got Martavious Marvin going to the Cardinals. Number 5, Chargers. They could make a move at a weapon. Would not be surprised if they maybe pull a trigger on a Malik Neighbors here. You got aging a receiver room, even though you had some guys step up. Johnson did not look like, I don't know if it's going to work out or not, but I think they play it smart here. Jim Harbaugh, like you said, if they get him, when they probably get him, he believes in the trenches. You go and get somebody that will absolutely dominate the trenches. And I don't know if he's my number 1 offensive lineman, but as of this second, I'm going to hold strong here with Joe Alt, just because I think that's a fit thing rather than him being the best offensive lineman on the board. I do love Penn State's Olu, but I'm going to go Joe Alt here at number 5 for the Chargers. That's my super early top 5 picks in the NFL draft, CDM.
I like that. 3 quarterbacks going off first. It could be in different orders, though. It just depends. It just depends, as you said, as in trades and what everybody needs going into the offseason.
100% agree. And, a list of quarterbacks Brian Callahan has worked with: Peyton Manning, Matthew Stafford, Derek Carr, and Joe Burrow. So he's been with some pretty good guys over his career.
I mean, Peyton Manning at the top of the list. I mean, good Lord.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. So, yeah. Hey, dude, did you see those rumors about the 49ers reached out to Tom Brady trying to get him out of retirement?
Yeah, dude, I saw that today. I didn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah, that was weird, right? That was weird.
I mean, we all knew Brock was going to be ready. We all knew Brock was going to be ready before the season even started. So that's just a bunch of BS. They're trying to blow up people's asses.
He talked about it. Brock talked about it though. Like they talked to him about it. Yeah, like he said,
this was like a legit thing?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Like he came out about it and talked about it, apparently.
Oh, my God, dude. I swear to God, if Tom Brady would have came back for like 5 games. Oh.
They tried to get him to begin of the season, trying to get him to start, and they told like,
oh. What if Tom just, didn't skip a beat? Like, what if Tom just looked like Tom and just went out there and just balled?
Him in that system with those players, man.
Oh my God, dude, that'd be the best team he's ever had on the offensive side of the ball. That would be the best team he's ever had.
It'd be just absolutely ridiculous. Oh my gosh.
God.
Bring Gronk
too bad we never get to find out.
You're right. All right, let's move on. Let's get this podcast over. We thank y'all all for watching and listening on YouTube and the podcast platforms out there. But we got to finish this thing up. We got to do score predictions, brother. It is time. Let's get into this thing. Championship weekend is on the horizon. It's Monday while we're recording this. We cannot wait for Sunday. Let's take a look at our first game, the NFC Championship game versus the 49ers and the Lions. 49ers.
It's crazy, bro. The Lions are in the NFC Championship, bro. It's crazy that we're having this conversation.
Doesn't make sense.
Not even trying to diss on Detroit, bro. It's like I've never seen them in an NFC Championship game, so I don't really know I mean, this 49ers team was there last year. I don't know. I mean, it's big brother versus little brother right now, but I mean, it's crazy, dude. I love it. It's awesome.
I love it too, man. 6.5-point favorites are those 49ers coming into this game. That line will probably shift. I bet in Lions' favor. We'll see how that goes. Money on 49ers right now. 50.5-point favorites. That money line is obviously in the 49ers' favor as we keep looking at this. This is an interesting thing, man. I mean, there's a lot of, when it comes to the tail of the tape, as we will give you all a look at this as well here, records the same, but offense, both of them, very good, very good. Then you look at the defense. That's where you see the biggest change when it comes to, okay, which team is a better team? The 49ers
have this shit locked down.
Yeah, and the Lions defense, when it comes to statistics, it does not look great. The turnover margin is 0.
Turnover margin too. Yeah. My God,
0. So that's even. They don't get any or give up too many. So not a horrible stat, but when you look at plus 10 for the 49ers, that's pretty damn impressive. So CDM. This is a tough match to call. Both of these championship games are. As they should be. But Lions, 49ers, the two best teams, in my opinion, in the NFC, face off. I wonder what Red would think about that with the Cowboys. CDM, give me your thoughts on this matchup, that tail of the tape. Does that sway your opinion in a different way than you were coming into the pod?
No, it doesn't. I don't think it does. Detroit has been on a mission. Detroit has been on a complete mission to go the distance and show everybody, like, hey, we're not just the average Lions team that you've seen year in and year out being bums, can't get anything done, don't have anybody, don't have the support that we need. I love the Lions, man. I'm right behind Dan Campbell. I'm right behind Jared Goff in this offense and what they can do. I mean, and Aiden Hutchinson as well. I got to throw my man out there. I mean, the dude's a baller. From being at Michigan to living in Detroit, like from living in Michigan to go play for the University of Michigan, and then you go second overall to your hometown state, and now you're a year later after your rookie year, you're going to play to go get in a Super Bowl. I mean, my decision will not sway at all. They've got grit. They've got that chip on their shoulder. And the 49ers, man, I mean, no disrespect to them. Obviously, they are the most veteran team besides the Kansas City Chiefs in this playoffs. The Kansas City and 49ers have the most experience in these situations. So obviously it's going to lean towards the 49ers favorite a little bit more. But the Lions, man, they always seem to surprise people. They've been seeming to surprise people all season long, and I'm expecting a surprise this Sunday when the Lions hoist the NFC Championship trophy to go to the Super Bowl. And it's going to happen. So without further ado, I am taking the Detroit Lions to go play for a Super Bowl and to beat the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, my gosh. You got me a score prediction there?
I've got the score prediction to be just like the other games were, 27-24.
Okay. We have very similar score predictions.
But I'll throw a twist in mine. Overtime. Gotta have an overtime game, and I think it's the night game. The AFC Championship's the day game. This is the night game. What better way to end it like Championship Sunday with an overtime thriller to go to a Super Bowl?
Preach. I love it. I love the prediction, CDM there. Man, this is so cool. When I was putting the graphics together, looking at these stats, a little shocking. Points allowed and yards per game allowed by the Lions. But, I mean, I knew that the Lions statistically, defensively, hasn't been great. But when you watch the defense, you see a lot of dogs on that defense. Aiden Hutchinson, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Alex Anzalone. The kid that in the video that got his first pick. There's
Martinez.
I mean, there's some dogs on this team, man. And I love what they've built. I love this culture. And with the 49ers, can they get past this hump? That's the biggest thing. They've had struggles when it comes to these big games. And last year, it's a whole situation quarterback situation, like no one's overcoming that. Sorry, like no one does. And would have been interesting to see if Brock played, but he doesn't, and they lose. And the 49ers have been trying to get back here. They've made it to a Super Bowl with Shanahan and lost it with Jimmy. And, they've been trying to get back here, and this team has had so much hype, and everyone knows how talented they are. On paper, they should be the champs no matter what. It's not an on-paper game. That's why I love this game. Statistically, on paper, 49ers are supposed to be in this game. Grit, the eye test, the Lions are supposed to be here. Which one wins? The analytics win, or does the good old-fashioned NFL eye win here? I mean, it is a beautiful matchup. It's exactly what we deserve as fans. So when it comes to my prediction, I'm joining you, CDM. Give me the Lions to move on.
Let's go. Let's go.
Their first Super Bowl ever. It is time. This is, shout out to the McAfee Show, the brand new Lions.
Yes.
This is the brand new Lions.
It's the brand new Lions. We're eating kneecaps all day.
Damn right. Damn right. It is time. It is their chance to do this, and they've got the team. This is not house money. This team can and should beat this team, in my opinion. They are so well balanced. Offensively, the defense has stepped up when they need it. They've got players everywhere. Love Dan Campbell. It is their time. I know the 49ers, it's their time too. They really need to get to a Super Bowl and win one, but man, the Lions, I'm riding it. I'm riding this wave. It is their time.
And see, like, you think of it like this as well, but this is the way I'm going to look at it. This game determines on both quarterbacks for both teams. Who's going to mess up first? Is it going to be Jared Goff or is it going to be Brock Purdy? And I feel like Jared Goff, being the most experienced quarterback in this game, who's been to an NFC championship, who shouldn't have won, who has been to a Super Bowl, who shouldn't have been there, but still, he's had that experience. Brock Purdy, second year, he didn't get to play the entire game. This is a whole new. Like, this is the ball game. Like, if I'm Brock Purdy, like, this is my time. Like, this is the ball game that I honestly need to win to go play for a championship. So it all depends on who messes up first, and also comes with a coaching decision as well, because Kyle Shanahan has been in these decisions. Dan Campbell this is his first, like, he's getting a taste of it, like he's finally here. So it depends on who's going to mess up first by the quarterbacks and the coaching.
Yeah, I agree. This is a coaching battle through and through. When it comes to my score prediction, it will say that too. Give me the Lions winning this one, 27-26. Yeah.
Oh my God, a missed PAT.
Oh, I think it's a made field goal for the win. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, I got you.
Defense in the red zone. Here we go. All right, CDM, that'll do it for our NFC Championship game prediction. Now, let's move on to the AFC Championship game. Ravens versus the Chiefs. They just get here, and the Ravens with their first chance with Lamar Jackson to make a Super Bowl. We've talked about it. It is here. 3.5-point favorites are those Ravens. 45.5 is the over-under. Money line, obviously, in the Ravens' favor. It's time to look at the tail of the tape as well here. CDM, Ravens 13-4, KC 11-6. These stats are even more interesting when you look at the points per game, yards per game. This is not the same old Chiefs. And look at those defensive stats. This is not the same old Chiefs. Even though that turnover margin is absolutely atrocious for the Chiefs, but incredible.
Oh man, I almost said it. That's disgusting. that's gross, man.
It's bad.
A -11.
It's bad. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad, man. So.
And then you got to look at the Ravens' yards, bro. Like 370 yards per game. Oh my God. But then you have to look at their yards allowed.
Dude,
Kansas City's defense is not that bad.
KC's defense has been really good this year.
It's stepped up, but then you got to look at Baltimore's defense. Like, I know it says that they allow that many yards, but I mean, if you just watch a game, man, you just look at that defense.
Yeah, I mean, they're still top 10. I mean, this defense for the Ravens is legit, man. It's so good.
Yeah. Like, I mean, they've got all the right pieces in all the right places. You're talking about quarterback. You got Marlon Humphrey, who is coming back for this game. He will be back for the AFC Championship.
Mark Andrew. He's going to be back, apparently.
Oh, no.
That's massive for the Ravens.
And then, you have him and Isaiah Likely.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. And then you had Zay Flowers and Odell. And then on the defensive side, you have Patrick Queen, Roquan. I'll add Jadeveon Clowney down there too, because I mean he puts his fair part in that game. And then you got Kyle Hamilton, Marlon Humphrey. I mean the team in general is loaded all around.
Marcus Williams is on the defense. It's like they are loaded, bro.
The Ravens are the team, man. I'm telling you, the Ravens are that team this year to get it done.
Is that a foreshadowing to your pick here?
I mean, I'll take it away real fast, man. I mean, as much as I respect Patrick Mahomes, I mean, I have his jersey hanging up right here, obviously. Um, the next greatest football player ever. I mean, he's done so much, and it's always been between Allen and Mahomes, Allen and Mahomes, Allen and Mahomes. Now we get Lamar Jackson in his biggest game of his career against Patrick Mahomes and what he's used to being in. And I feel like it comes down to who wants it more. And obviously, I know Patrick wants it, but Lamar Jackson has been waiting his time. He's been waiting patiently. He's done the work, and it's time for the Ravens to go back to a Super Bowl. And I think the Ravens get it done. I think the Ravens create turnovers. I think they log down that wide receiver room and take away Travis Kelce. I think they create pressure to get back there to Patrick Mahomes and not let him outside of the pocket, because if you let him outside, he's going to find ways to create plays and move the ball downfield. But that defense has gotten it done. And then on the offensive side, you have to be able to shut down Lamar Jackson just by himself. You have to be able to stop the run game, because their run game has gotten tremendously better throughout the entire season. And then you have Zay Flowers and Odell on the outside, and then add in Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. I mean, on the outside and right there on the edges where your tight ends, I mean, Lamar he's finally got weapons. He's finally got weapons. The years that he's been playing in the NFL, he's never had solidified weapons besides Mark Andrews. Now he's got a plethora of weapons to throw the ball to. So I'll just get to it, man. I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens. I'm taking Baltimore winning 31-21 to go play the Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl.
I love it.
31-21 Baltimore. Lamar Jackson over 100 yards rushing, 300 yards passing, 4 touchdowns.
Oh my goodness, I love it.
One interception.
Okay, I love it, man. Hey, I love the 10 points there. Pretty firm on the Ravens getting the job done, and I agree. I think the Ravens get the job done in this one. They are just so damn good, man, with the offense. I mean, this team a couple years ago, a year ago, it was all about how they didn't have weapons, and now you just run down the team and be like, geez, this team's loaded. I mean, and if they didn't lose J.K. Dobbins, the
team would be 10 times better.
They lost their 2 top running backs, and now with Gus Edwards, who's still good, and Dalvin Cook, I imagine he's going to make some impact. He made a little bit of impact in the game on this weekend, and this team with the linebackers, you laid it out: Roquan Smith, Patrick Queen, Jadeveon Clowney has a resurgence of his career late here, and the secondary is ridiculous. It's their time. It really does feel like it's their season, and I said it. I never pick against the Chiefs. I never do it. I think I'm doing it, man. I think I'm finally going to do it here, and I'm going to
join the club, man.
Man, it's just these Ravens are tough. Home. These are tough, and we got to shout out first of all. Red's not here. I wanted to shout him out. Red made his prediction for the Super Bowl was the Ravens versus the 49ers, and he had the Ravens winning it all. So he's really close. His prediction is really close.
Super close, and if he gets it right, bro,
that's preseason. That's preseason prediction. So yeah. Hey, Red, shout out to Red there, getting this one down to the wire, and I wish he was here to kind of comment on that, but I got the Ravens pulling through. I never bet against the Chiefs, but I'm going to do it here, and we're gonna go Ravens, handling their business in an absolute classic.
Ravens versus. It's the Super Bowl that America wants, man.
It is.
It's the Super Bowl that America wants and America needs it. We've seen the 49ers versus Chiefs, man. That's old news. I need some new stuff. I need new news. And that new news is Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions going up against the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson.
You're damn right, son. You're damn right. Give me the Ravens 30-27. Another close match up. Oh my gosh. CDM. What a season. What a season.
What a season, man. What a season. It's been a ride, man. It's been a ride.
Has been. Wow, we really haven't got to cover as much as we wanted to, obviously, all y'all out there, but with College Kings and schedules, it's been a little bit of a trouble, technical difficulties, not being able to get Red on and now today, but we're gonna get him on, and we're gonna keep giving y'all content next week, and as we get to the Super Bowl, it's crazy times for the NFL and football itself as the season comes to an end. We thank all y'all that tuned in or watched in this episode 44 of the Pound Perspective, keeping this thing rolling. It's been a minute since we dropped on here, but like I said, we've been dropping College Kings, so keep an eye out for that. We're gonna try and keep that alive as well. Me and CDM here, as college basketball has taken off. A lot of losses in the top 10, and baseball right on around the horizon. And like we said, March Madness. Can't wait for it all. But right now it's the NFL. As well as the NFL Draft Pod that will be coming out very soon in tandem with College Kings. Subscribe, like, share everything with the Pound Perspective on social media and everything. Please subscribe to Nate Dogg Productions. It's the only way we can know that we're growing and making more content for y'all. We love doing it. So CDM, as always, thank you, my brother.
Thank you, sir, for letting me on the Pound Perspective. Always enjoyed it. Started right when we left. We're coming back. We'll be back next week to do the Super Bowl, project it, but we already know who's going to be in it, so we're ready for it. We're prophets. We're gonna be ready for it.
You're damn right, we're prophets. We'll be back next week when the Ravens are facing off against the Lions. It's going to be KC versus the 49ers now.
No, it's not. It's going to be Ravens versus Lions. It's not going to happen. It's not.
I love it. Love the confidence. All right. Thank you all for tuning in to the Pound Perspective, episode 44, presented by Nate Dogg Sports. We hope you all have an incredible day. Peace.